She will be arrested for contempt of court.
What is up, YouTube? What's going on? What's going on? I want to kick off today's reaction with a quote by Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Justice continue to think and can change. I'm ever hopeful that if the court has a blind spot today, its eyes will remain open tomorrow. Now, we don't got to worry about all of that, as we're about to check out the wildest courtroom situations ever recorded. So you best believe nothing's going to remain in the dark. I feel like it's going to get very intense, and it's going to be at a point where those indicted people we're going to see that were charged with the most insane and horrendous crimes you could possibly think of. Like, I have no idea what each, previous history of each of those cases was, but I bet we finna find out right about now. So let's just hit play and find out about the craziest courtroom situations caught on camera. Man, I feel like it's gonna get wild. So hit the hammer, fam, and let's get it. Oh, and before I forget to mention it, again, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below. If you dig the content, man, I appreciate you. And I'm always excited about you guys tuning back in. One love. Let's get it, man. Yeah.
This is Melissa Hardwick, who is facing charges regarding a domestic violence order filed by her husband in Michigan.
Yo, check her out, man. I can already sense a little psycho Karen vibe looking at her. She's got this crazy aura, you can tell.
Melissa is before Judge Jennifer Edwards.
I've taken your statements in your petition as part of your testimony, but I need you to tell me briefly, in your own words, what happened to cause you to ask for a domestic violence order.
Yes, Your Honor.
Until things took an unexpected turn when Melissa began talking back to the judge.
We hadn't really had anything personal up until that point. She got out of jail in April. She
My
started.
personal life is none of your business, John. It has nothing to do with
Miss
you
Hardwick,
boys. No.
you will be held in contempt of this court if you become
I don't
disruptive.
care.
Despite the judge warning Melissa that she would be held in contempt if she continued speaking, Melissa refused to stop talking and interrupted the proceedings.
I haven't done anything to this court. I haven't done anything to
Okay.
him.
She will be
It
arrested
doesn't
for
make-
contempt
it
of the
doesn't
court.
make any difference.
You will serve 10 days for contempt of court.
This is when things get crazy.
God damn! Guys, that crazy lady went completely nuts. Dude, yo, that woman is wilding out. The way she tries to jump on that judge, has to be one of the craziest attacks I've been seeing on the internet so far. Particularly so in the environment she's in. I mean, in the courtroom, attacking a judge, they can't even hold her back properly. It's like an elephant who magically grew wings and attempts to fly for the first time after it felt provoked by the judge giving her a reasonable verdict based on evidence, it seems. I can't believe what I'm watching, y'all.
Follow me.
Can't find back.
Wait and see.
Melissa lost control. The news seemed to trigger her, and in anger, she lunged across the bench to attack the judge, causing security to rush in. Fortunately, Judge Edwards remained unharmed during the incident, but Melissa suffered facial scratches as 3 security officers apprehended her. Adam Dodson, one of the court security officers who helped restrain Melissa, revealed that he had never witnessed such a serious incident in his 3.5 years on the job.
For 3.5 years, and this is the first time anything that serious has happened.
It was a shocking moment for everyone involved. Following the incident, Melissa was sentenced to 120 days in jail for contempt of court. Additionally, she was charged with third-degree terroristic threatening, intimidating a participant in the legal process, and resisting arrest.
Happy birthday, Melissa. I guess this is what you get for being publicly out of your mind and having done all those crazy things. And on top of that, going all nuts on the judge. Again, this is wild, folks. Hey, by the way, if you happen to mess with this type of content and want to see me react to more crazy content like this, as well as the finest in music, more crazy videos, and a lot of other trending stuff that's out there these days, as well as travel content, I also try to discover all kinds of crazy things in person by myself by actually going out there. So hit the record button for y'all so you can watch what's going on in places like Miami, New York, Puerto Rico, London, from the comfort of your home. So make sure you subscribe real quick. I appreciate y'all. Let's move on though.
However intense Melissa's case was, it can't be compared to the case of 18-year-old Keandrea Cook,
All right, Miss Cook, come on up.
who stands accused of utilizing a dating app to orchestrate a robbery that resulted in a shooting in South Daytona. The incident occurred when Cook, then a student at Mainland High School, used a dating app called Meet Me to lure Perry Nita, a 27-year-old man, to a date in South Daytona. The plan was for Nita to sell her marijuana, and they were expected to engage in sexual activity. However, Cook had a hidden motive. Nita brought a 17-year-old friend, Emmanuel Purcell. Unknown to them, Cook's boyfriend, Kendrick Bass, was waiting to rob them. As they got into the truck, Cook informed Nita that she needed to collect some money from a friend's house. When she returned, a masked man entered the back seat. The man fired 2 shots, one of which struck Purcell in the stomach. Detectives believed that this wasn't the only time Cook and her accomplices used dating apps to lure victims in for carjacking. In fact, only 48 hours after the shooting, Bass and Cook teamed up for another carjacking. If you thought Cook's crimes were shocking, wait till you see how she reacted to her sentence. During the sentencing, she played a significant role in the orchestrated ambush. Before Judge Foxman handed down Cook's sentence, she asked to speak before the courtroom.
I just want to say that I'm sorry to the people wrong that her son had to get shot, because I didn't even know he was going to get shot. My boyfriend and his friends kept trying me to do this. I didn't even know what was going on until I was at the wrong place at the wrong time. I just want to say that I asked for forgiveness for a second chance so I can get out and finish school and I can be my mama proud, because I want to be her first child to bring home a high school diploma, and I just want to make my mama proud. That's it.
You know what is sure not to make Mama proud? The sentence Cook is about to receive.
Sentence you to 20 years in state prison.
The courtroom suddenly turning into a nut house. I mean, fair enough, that situation, even if it's a mother of a child that did these crazy ass things. But then again, looking at those charges next to her mugshot is pretty damn strange, given that although in retrospect, after what she did, this might sound kind of strange, but I am positive there's people out there that if they weren't aware of what she had done, this right there is the type of girl that folks say she's got the face of an angel. As ironic as it is, based on the stuff she did, but this right there only goes to show that the most hardcore criminals don't look like your psychopathic serial killer you normally see in the movies.
Don't cover the charge by, don't charge the
Another martini, Paul.
They come with a smile. When they're females, they could look as innocent as a little puppy. So make no mistake, somebody doing the wildest shit can live right next door and look like your average citizen. Matter of fact, this is what in most cases makes them even more successful, even though the term successful might sound kind of morbid in these instances, but it just makes it more unpredictable. Like you would not expect that girl next door, this cute little Girl Scout, that she's gonna go bananas like that.
He sentenced Cook to 20 years on a carjacking charge, 15 years for attempted carjacking with a deadly weapon, and 15 years for a battery felony. The sentences were supposed to be served concurrently. Immediately after the sentence was given, the courtroom was filled with intense emotions as Cook's mother cried out. She couldn't contain her grief and dropped to the floor, wailing loudly. And Cook broke down in tears, calling out to her mother.
15 years state
However, after reviewing the case, Cook's sentence was later reduced to 11 years. Cook's case may be touching, however, it wasn't the only time a courtroom went crazy during sentencing, like in the case of Alan Boston, who was facing charges for marijuana possession in Tennessee. Boston was called up to the bench to discuss his sentence and determine how he wanted to plead to the case.
I spoke with Mr. Boston. He said he wants to represent himself in this case. I told him today was choose arraignment. It's either guilty, not guilty by day.
Start talking, son.
Yes, sir. I think it's very unfair, the marijuana law here.
I think we the people deserve better because marijuana is a very harmless drug, and it's been around for ages, since the 80s, 90s.
I've heard that baloney all my life, so don't go any further on that.
Yes, sir.
I don't know whether it's good or bad. All I know is Tennessee still has it against the law. I swore to uphold the laws, and I have to uphold the laws as a judge. It probably is unfair, but I can't change it. You've got to go see the legislature to get that change.
Yes, sir.
And if you get it changed.
He surprised everyone by reaching into his front pocket, pulling out a joint, and lighting it right there in the courtroom. Yes, you heard that correctly. He lit a joint in front of everyone. The incident didn't go unnoticed. Court officers swiftly intervened and grabbed Boston, escorting him out of the courtroom while a cloud of smoke trailed behind him.
Yo, did he seriously just light up a blunt in front of the judge? Man, he must have gotten so emotional that he thought, don't worry, man, I got this. Don't cry. Smoke weed and fly. Well, guess what, my dude? You got that right. Fly right outside the courtroom, straight into the jail cell. What were you thinking, dude?
Wilson County Sheriff Robert Ryan, who was present at the scene, described it as one of the craziest things he had ever witnessed. However, his little stunt had consequences. In addition to the initial possession charge, Boston was booked on a second charge for simple possession due to his actions in the courtroom. On top of that, he was found in contempt of court for his disruptive behavior. As a result, he will be served 10 days in jail for the contempt charge.
This guy wanted to just smoke weed and get high. What the man didn't know, that he'll soon be so high that he'll find himself at the high court in front of His Highness, the judge himself. This dude looks like the real life version of the Big Lebowski. I don't know if y'all remember the movie from back in the day, but he seems like a man is the dude with the attitude.
Spencer Boston certainly left a lasting impression on the courtroom. However, some would argue that the case of Arthur Booth is far more memorable. Arthur Booth, a 49-year-old career criminal, is facing charges of burglary, grand theft, fleeing, and resisting arrest in Miami, Florida. Additionally, he has 3 arrest affidavits for reckless driving, property damage, and leaving the scene of a crash without serious injury. In 2015, during one of his escapades, the 49-year-old was apprehended while driving a vehicle reported stolen in a robbery. Instead of complying with the authorities, he engaged in a high-speed chase, resulting in his arrest. Booth's legal predicament led him to the Miami-Dade Bond Court presided over by Judge Leonid Grazer. The judge set his bond at $43,000, or a year of incarceration, if he couldn't afford it.
Okay, Mr. Booth, I have a question for you.
Yes, ma'am.
Did you go to Nautilus for middle school?
Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness.
I'm sorry to see you there. I always wondered what happened to you, sir.
Oh, my goodness.
This is the nicest kid in middle school.
Oh, my goodness.
It was then that Booth recognized his former classmate in the judge's robe. Overwhelmed with remorse and humiliation, he broke down in tears.
Yo, good for him. Meeting that judge, bro, what a blessing in disguise. Yo, check out what a weight it took off of him. Like, it's crazy how a lot of these cases each have their own background story behind it, leading up to each of these trial dates. That is just beyond crazy, because a lot of times you just watch the news and see the end result. But then again, there's such a sophisticated and cleverly worked through process taking place before the final verdict is revealed. And it's such a sophisticated process that's cleverly worked out and thought through that there's rarely any wiggle room for objection unless the accused people have reasonable doubts. But as you can see, it's clearly a night and day difference from a show like CSI Miami, which I happen to jokingly talk about every now and then when I'm in the streets of Miami with my camera doing vlogs, because a lot of people love that show and they love Miami. But yeah, there you go. That right there is the real deal, people. That right there is how it be actually going down, regardless of whether proven guilty or not guilty. Man, this is some interesting stuff. No cap. Let's keep watching.
Booth resolved to confront his addiction issues and forge a brighter future. Fast forward 10 months to when Booth is to be released from incarceration. Along with his family, Booth was met by an old friend. However emotional you think Arthur Booth's case was, nothing could have prepared you for the case of 18-year-old Leonid Grazer, who was facing charges for murder in Moscow, Russia. Grazer had confessed to the brutal murder of his sister, Ariada Carol.
Jeez, bro. That dude is out of his mind. Like, his face already says it all. I mean, he couldn't hide that he had a screw loose already. Sheesh. His face expression already screams psycho from a distance. Yo, it's over, guy. Give us the verdict and call it a day. What an incredibly hideous case and person. That's the type of stuff horror movies are made of. It automatically be making your hair stand up.
Who was found naked with multiple stab wounds in their shared apartment. He claimed that Satan had ordered him to commit the heinous act. Eyewitnesses reported that before the police arrived, Grazer undressed and drew demonic symbols with blood on his sister's body and his head. He pleaded to be freed from Satan's influence, claiming that the devil incited him to kill his sister. Although his actions were horrible, Grazer's behavior in court was terrifying. Grazer finds himself in the Shubinski courthouse, enclosed within a glass cage, precisely what Grazer had planned. Although Grazer seems to have settled down for the moment, he manages to slip through the slats at the top of the bulletproof security dock. However, police officers quickly intervened, using batons and tasers to subdue him and pull him back down. Despite losing his trousers in the process, Grazer was eventually tasered and forced to return to the dock. Once Grazer adjusts his attire, he proceeds to provide a complete confession for the murder, boldly expressing no remorse for his heinous actions. If you thought these courtroom moments were shocking, you'd be amazed at this video.
Yo, not gonna lie, this has to be some of the wildest stuff I've seen so far on the internet. I mean, it's all relative. I know there's a lot of other true crime content revealing things that might be even far worse, but then again, where do you draw the line? Like, a lot of that stuff is just jaw-droppingly disturbing. So all I can say is stay at home, kids, and don't leave your house after 10 p.m. One of the best measures and safety precautions is to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Again, I appreciate y'all, and I'm looking forward to reacting to a lot of other crazy ass stuff that I got lined up. So stay safe, stay as awesome as you are, and stay tuned. Love y'all. Bye.